Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Today we are going to do some fantastic scrap crafting and crafting with those cut aparts. Y'all stay tuned. So for all of my wonderful subscribers and viewers, thank you so much for joining and supporting my channel, or for just dropping by to check out this video. I know that you have other YouTube viewing options, so I really appreciate the time that you give to my channel, whether it's 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. I really appreciate the fact that you dropped by and decided that you would invest some of your most valuable time with me. So here is what we're going to be making today. We are going to be making the sweetest, cutest little books. We're going to be using some scrap paper, our cut aparts, and more pieces of scrap. But the beauty of this is we're going to create these awesome little cut apart journals. They are perfect for whatever you might want to put in them. You can journal in them, you can doodle in them, you can do whatever it is you like. We are going to make these, and then y'all stay tuned because we are going to make a very sweet holder for our set. And this cut apart is actually a part of this collection by Echo Park, and it's called Coffee. And I am just going to hold it up so that you guys can get that SKU in case you want it. But there are some awesome sheets in here and some awesome cut aparts, and I will be using a full page of cut aparts on this project. So I'll be using the page in your book or your pad that has the sheet of cut aparts that measure 3 by 4. And there will be 12 of those if you have a page of 3 by 4 cut aparts. Then I'm going to have the cover of my little journal, and it measures 4 1/8 by 6 5/8. Then I have some 3 by 4 white paper, and this is just standard copier paper. And I cut out about 60 sheets, and I'm just going to divide it throughout the book. And then I have some cut aparts that I have already cut out, and we'll cut out the rest together. And then I have 2 sheets that measure 2 5/8 by 3 7/8 for the outside of the book and the inside of the book. So, y'all, let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to need to do is bring in my scoreboard because I need to cut out my cut aparts. Now, I have already cut out most of them, but I'll cut out this last section with you guys, and most cut aparts on your sheet are going to measure 3 by 4. So go ahead and cut those out. Exact cutting is not going to be a problem because I have added in some buffer to the jacket of our book. So then once we have our cut aparts all cut out, I am just going to stack them just to make sure that they're fairly even, and they are, so they're even enough. Then I'm just going to go through my cut aparts and find the one that I want to be on the front of my book. And I think I'm going to do this one that says change the world, start with coffee. And I am not a coffee drinker, but I think that's cute. So then after that, I want to figure out what's the first page that I want to be seen when my book is open. I'll go back and do this page and just create a little inside cover. But what is the very first page that I want to be seen? And I think I'm going to go with this one. So all I'm doing now is going back and just kind of mixing in some of those word pages with some of the graphic pages, just so I'll have a good mixture and I won't have all words and all graphics loaded together. So what I mean by that is you can see that I've got a graphic page there, and then I have a graphic page there. So I have them a little bit spread out. Now all I need to do is take some of my white sheets and just start mixing them in between these. And how many you put in between is completely up to you. I am doing this all willy-nilly, guys. I am not doing any counting of the pages because I know that I have a total of 60 pages in this book. So that is what is important to me, is that I have my 60 pages. Okay, so once we have all of our pages in our book, we just need to get these nice and even, and we want the evenness to be on that spine. So all I'm doing is tapping until I have a fairly even spine. Then I'm going to take my clips, put my clips on, and then I'm going to get a little bit messy. So I am going to take my Reptile Glue, and I am just going to put some glue just like this, and then I'm going to take my fingers and I am going to get that glue spread out and worked in. So I might add just a little bit more just to make sure that I have got really good coverage. I'm not putting a lot on all at once because I really want to control the glue. So then once you have a nice coating of glue, we're just going to set this to the side, let it dry until we have like a translucent sheen on this, and then we can start working. All right, guys, so now that our little book here is dry, hopefully you can see that translucent sheen on there. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to twist the angle of it. But when your glue is dry, you're going to have a shiny little sheen from top to bottom, and that's what you want. So now I'm going to bring my scoreboard back in, and I am going to take my paper that measures 6 5/8 by 4 1/8, and I am going to score this at 3 1/8 and at 3 1/2. So then I'll fold and burnish my scores. And now we're going to have a little booklet like this. So let's take our booklet, put it on the inside, and make sure that it's going to fit. And now that we know that it is, I am going to remove my clips. Then I am going to take my Reptile Glue, and I am going to make just a series of dots on this. And then I'm going to take my finger again and just spread that glue out, and I want complete coverage so that this will stick to the inside of my book, but I don't want it dripping. So I'm going to take this and I'll stand it up just like this, and I'm just going to take it and put it on the inside, and then I'll lay it down and bring this side up just like this, and I'm going to take my finger and run my finger along the back side, and I'm doing it like this because it'll help to keep that glue from coming up to the top. So then I'll stand it up, going to make sure I go over this and really get that glue from the booklet stuck to the spine. Then I'm going to open up the back side and do the same thing. So now that it's in there, I am going to take my big old spatula and really just work that glue in. And now we have our little book, but we need to make sure that we let it dry. So while it's drying, I'm going to go ahead and just do some decorating. So I have my piece that measures 2 5/8 by 3 7/8, which is too small for this cut apart. So all I'm going to do is I am going to trim down my cut apart just a little bit. And I am just going to remove some of the border portion of this cut apart. Because I am making the cut apart fit what I need for it to fit. So now that I have trimmed this down, you can see that it'll now fit on top of that. So I am going to take my tape runner and I am just going to add some tape to this piece. And I'll take this piece and I am going to place it right there, just like that. And then I'll add my tape to the back. I'll bring my book in, make sure that I've got that front cover, and now I can take this and just place it down on that front cover. And isn't this just cute? So now I'm going to open it up and we're going to place this piece on the inside. So again, I'll use my tape runner for this. And I'm going to put this piece down, just like that. And so now I'm going to use my coffee sticker sheet and find just a little saying that I want on this. And I think that what I'm going to do is go with this one that says coffee is always a good idea. We'll place that right there. And now we have our second little book. I'm not going to spread it open yet because it's still drying, but you can see how doing that method, you have end-to-end coverage. So here we have it, our finished, beautiful little book. And I have the first one that I showed you, and then I have a third one that I made to go along with this set. And aren't these just absolutely adorable? So easy to make. You can use your cut aparts for any season and make this set. But you know what? We have a gorgeous set of 3. We need something to hold these. So we are going to make a holder, and we need 2 pieces of medium weight chipboard that measure 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. We need 1 piece of medium weight chipboard that measures 1 5/8 by 4 1/4. We need a piece of medium weight chipboard that measures 1 5/8 by 3 1/8. And then we need a medium weight piece of chipboard that measures 1 5/8 by 1 3/4. Then I am going to be using a scrap piece here, and this is approximately 3 by 12. And then I have a scrap piece that is 8 by 12, and you guys are probably saying, how can an 8 by 12 be a scrap? Well, I cut it wrong, and I was going to cut this for a specific project, and I ended up cutting it wrong. So whenever I do that, I just take it and toss it into my scrap bin, and I'm pulling it out to use it on this project because it will be perfect for that. So what I'm going to do first is make the spine of my project. So I am going to remove my tape, and I'm going to start with my piece that measures 1 5/8 by 4 1/4, and I am just going to place that down about 1/2 inch from the top, just like that. Then I'm going to take my piece that measures 3 1/8 by 1 5/8, and I am going to place that down, giving myself about 1/8 of an inch in spacing. And then I'll take my final piece that measures 1 3/4 by 1 5/8, and I'm going to place that down right here. So then let's take our stylus and just press down into the paper, following the shape of our chipboard. And by doing this, if you have a paper that has a tendency to crack, this will help to reduce it. Might not eliminate it completely, but it will reduce it some. So now I'm just going to trim off a little bit of this because I don't need all of that. So now y'all, let's take this, stand it up on all 4 sides so we can get a little wraparound going. And then I'm going to take my scissors and do a very slight miter. Normally you'll see me do a very large miter and a very deep miter into the board, but this time I'm doing a very slight one because I need to bring this over like that. So I am just going to snip like right there, and then I'll snip right there so that I can do my fold over in just a minute. All right, so once we have our edges mitered, we are simply going to take our glue, place glue on these flaps. I'm going to bring in a paper towel because this can get just a little bit messy. And I am going to do my wraparound. I'll use my paper towel to get that initial stick going. I'm just going to make sure I get this nice and stuck. And then I'm just going to make sure I have that nice and stuck. And then I'll go along my edges. And now I'm going to take this piece, place glue all over it. And I am using Reptile Glue, which is a fantastic glue. I absolutely love it. It is truly my favorite. So now that I have this down, I can actually see, guys, where I made a little misjudgment in the scrap piece, thinking that the scrap that I had would actually cover this whole piece of chipboard, and it does not. So what I am going to do is I am going to cheat just a little bit. So I am going to take a piece and cut that, and we're going to take this piece and place it right there. And that's the only part that I'm really going to be worried about, because the other piece will be folded up and you won't see it. Now, if you should be making these to sell it, then of course you want to cover up any exposed area that's showing, because you want what you sell to anyone to be almost perfect, or as perfect as you can get it. And I'm going to see if I can line up my plaids here. Try to get it pretty close. So I am just going to get that stuck. Now I can take my glue, place it on that flap, fold that over, and I'll do the same thing with this one. I'm going to place my glue, fold it over, and so now I simply need to start working my spine. And because I added that layer of paper, I am definitely going to use my big old spatula just to get down in that spine and make sure that I have everything nice and stuck. And then I'm going to do the same thing here because I don't want any humps in my paper. So now that we have this, we basically have a shape that looks like this. Now we are going to bring in our two pieces that measure 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and we're going to bring in that piece of paper that I cut wrong that measures 8 by 12, and we're going to go ahead and cover these. So I want the floral part to be the outside, so I am going to take these and place them down just like this on opposite ends so that I can get a good cutout. So I'm going to remove this tape. And I think that this really is going to be pretty. I haven't, usually I'll make a prototype, but I haven't of this. So what you guys are seeing me make here is live, basically, and unedited, because ordinarily I would edit out any of my miscuts, but this time I didn't. I am going with the flow. So basically I'm going to come here and just flare out a little, and I'll do the same thing over here. I am just going to flare, and I have gotten questions about why do I flare out, and I flare out so that when I go to fold this over, I know that I have this all covered when I lay it down like this. So now all I'm going to do on this piece is I am just going to place some glue. And we're going to get this covered and put down. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to use my big old spatula just to sort of work everything in. And then I'll trim away all of my excess. Okay guys, so once you have your side pieces cut out, you need to take them and do a test fit, and if they're too large, then you need to trim away some of the excess. But you can do this one of two ways. You can place it in so that it's nice and straight up and down, or you can come back and do an angle cut. I am just going to leave mine tall like a shelf because that's what I want. Okay guys, so before we actually place our side panels, I am going to take this strip and attach it to one side only of each one of the side pieces. So I am just going to place this using some glue, and this is just giving me a decorative finish because when I cut these out, you'll have 3 sides of the chipboard showing, and this is one of those times when we only need 2 sides of that chipboard showing. So I am just going to cover this. We're going to get this on here all nice and pretty, and it's going to be well coordinated with the actual project, so it's going to look very nice. So I'm going to take my big old spatula and just get that stuck. There's one. Then I'll take my second one and we'll do that on this one. So I am going to take my glue, place my glue on here. And we only need to place it on one of the long sides. So I am going to get that stuck. Now we can take these, and when you put them in, you want that decorative piece facing the front like this, because now that's going to cover up any of that exposed chipboard. So all we need to do at this point is add our glue, and we're ready to put this down. But when I did my fit, I could see that that was just a little bit snug. So I am going to use my ruler, and I trimmed off about a 1/16 of an inch. I'm going to do another test fit, and that fits a whole lot better. So when you place these in, when I place mine, I have made this and I have measured this so that it is going to be almost a perfect fit. And when you come in, you're only coming in a little. You are not coming in a whole lot. So you're basically coming in about a 1/16 of an inch. So when I put this down, I am going to add some glue to that part that I put the decorative paper on. I'll add glue coming up about 1 3/4 of an inch. And then I'll place glue on the remaining 2 exposed pieces of chipboard, all full coverage on those. So here I place glue about 1 3/4 of an inch up, and then I place glue here and glue there. So now I'm going to take this, place it in the way that you guys who have been with me for a while always see me do when I'm making a box like this, where I'm adding the side panels. So we're just going to put it in, press it down, press it towards the back, press in that front, and press it from the top just to get it stuck. And the glue will hold this, guys. That Reptile glue is very strong glue, and this process is just a very easy box making process that you're going to love once you try it. So once this is dry, we're going to do the same thing with this piece. So we're going to add our glue to the front here, coming up about 1 3/4 of an inch, and then we're going to add glue to the bottom, just a thin bead, and then we're going to add glue to the other exposed piece. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to slide it in, and then I'm going to slide it out some because I don't need it to be in as far as it is, because I do need to make sure that I have space for those cute little books to go in. And then I can take this and just start manipulating it in and straightening it out if I didn't get my placement as straight as I wanted when I put it in. So let's just hold this until it dries, and then we should be able to put all 3 of our books in. Now guys, I'll tell you this, if you follow this process the way that I've done it, and you make sure that you are not moving your side pieces in too far. You can see I have a lip, but I don't have it going in like 1/4 of an inch. As long as you do that, the measurements that I have given you for the 3 books to fit inside of this little bookshelf here will work. So I am just taking my paper towel and going on the inside and just wiping up some of that excess glue so that when I put my books in, I'm not going to have any problem with them getting glue on them. So I'm going to sit that right there. And we are just going to take our books and put them in. And now you guys can see that we have a great little fit on this. I am going to let my project dry just a little bit more, and then we'll come back and add some decoration. Okay guys, so this is dry enough for us to hold and to work with. And we are going to start doing some very simplistic decorating to this, nothing over the top. And because these are coffee themed little journals, I am going to use my coffee themed stickers. And what I want to do is go for total contrast because I think that's going to be fabulous. So I am going to start here at the back, and I am going to take this and just do a wraparound. Try to get it straight, especially in the front. So I am going to take this and just making sure that I have it wrapped around nice and snug. And when I turn my corners, I'm going to press in just a little bit so that I can turn a clean corner. And you can see contrast works with this. So when I get around to the back, I am just going to overlap and I will trim away this little bit of excess. And now you can see that we have a beautiful little contrast to this. So now what I want to do is I want to put something on the front, and I'm not sure if I want to put anything on the side yet, but let's just see what we have to work with here. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to take this little heart and just place it right here. Keep it very simple so that it doesn't really take away from the cuteness of our project. Then I think on the back, I am going to take this love sticker and just place it on the back, because I think that looks so cute. And look at how this turned out. We don't always have to have a whole lot of embellishments to have something classy and cute. Sometimes simple is the way to go. And I am so glad that I decided just to keep it simple on this project. So when you need your book, you just slide it out and it'll come right out. This is how snugly your books should fit when you have everything the way that I have done it in this video. You won't have them flopping all around. You'll have a very nice and very snug little fit on these. And there we have it, guys. We have got this awesome little holder. That one finished measures 4.5 inches high, 3.5 inches deep, and 1 5/8 of an inch wide. And that will hold 3 of these awesome little books. Guys, I hope that you have liked this project. And if you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys have a great day. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.